Hi, my name's Stephen King, and I make this video as a testament to what is going on with my family life with respect to my children and the current court system in the year 2020, mid-March. I have found out today that the interpretation of a ruling in Supreme Court in British Columbia is such that I am unable to see my children until I produce a sum of money which is well beyond my means. This is part of the ploy of the current family law system, which is based on largely on post-bellum reasoning and law, which is although I have a limited understanding of it, I have read about it as an argument for the abolishment of family maintenance. This goes way back to the Second World War and the current state of the economy and soldiers. Anyway, I won't get I won't get into that. I'll get into the fact that it continues to this day. Men are simply valued for some sort of economic reward at the end of a separation or divorce. The children are used, ironically, to compel repayment for services rendered to clients such as those recommended by the court, who are quasi-experts in assessments, who are often biased in their assessments, and the judiciary knows of the situation, which is parents will do whatever they can to see their kids. It's the ultimate bargaining chip. Case in point is myself. I'm a musician and a former teacher whose career has been obliterated by a former spouse who has undiagnosed personality disorder, which I won't get into. But basically, they and the court both courts, lower and upper courts, have allowed the deterioration of one parent versus another parent. That is, the male parent is destroyed to the point where they're unable to be a guardian, and that right is taken away from them, contingent upon paying massive sums of money from such things as imputed income by a university-educated person who essentially decided that they would lie in court, that's perjury, and say, oh, well, he doesn't declare half his income. Yet I had 4 years of statements from an accountant to the contrary, but none of that was taken into consideration. All that is required is that you pay the money that the court arbitrarily imputes based on any number of factors. At the end of the day, this particular provincial court had no mercy and was fairly, as many of these proceedings are, biased. And you will pay X amount of dollars and you will do this until eternity, and it doesn't matter if you don't have the means. You'll figure it out. You're a smart boy. This is how they deal with you, as an adult, and based on your education, whatever they deem. So what starts as a $7,000 debt becomes a $35,000+ debt in a matter of 5 years. That's an interest rate well beyond any kind of credit card system. No one really knows what the calculation is, but it is fair to say that these fees associated with default payments and so forth are absolutely astronomical, and they are to, the government wants money back in its coffers, and by golly, the court wants to compel you, so they use your children as pawns. just as a deranged spouse has done for several years. I have not seen my son, who is now going on 11, since he was 8. And this is supposed to be a civilized society in which there's the rule of law. There's no rule of law in family law. It's the rule of the jungle. And anyone who thinks otherwise hasn't been through the system. You will be laughed at as a man if you try to defend your right as a biological parent. Maybe not at first, because they want to lure you into the system so they can get you for gobs of money. But the thing is that the children are the ones who suffer. The deprivation of having a parent removed from a child's life is scientifically proven. You can go online and check the facts. But the outcome of this 10 years from now is that you will have a generation of dysfunctional Canadian children who grew up without a father or role model, male or female, and the odds and statistics are not in their favor. The court knows this fully and completely, and yet they use it as a tool, a weapon, to destroy the father. So many men are homeless. So many men are living in cardboard boxes. I live in a hostel right now. I used to have a beautiful home for my children, and everyone was welcome, and we had a quality of life. This was taken from me very easily by my spouse, who calls up Revenue Canada, has the money taken away, allotted to 50-50, even before the orders are changed. And this brings up an interesting point, how authorities collude in this country. The RCMP colludes with MCFD, which is the Ministry of Children and Family Development. And on the North Shore, it's a little place, incestuous as it is, it's an enclave of misandric feminist agenda. And this circulates right down to the police, because what you have are a disproportionate number of females in all of these positions of power. The power differential used to be that of the man. And this is where family law is arcane. That no longer exists. What you have is a power differential of the woman. The woman has the power. The women are the CEOs. The women are getting the good jobs. The women are getting the highest paying positions. And the propaganda machine that is become essentially everything from the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, based on this week's domestic violence reports, which were completely biased, I want to say, and had no other side to the story. Men in this country from coast to coast are abused by women. That's right. And the fact is they have nowhere to go. They have no safe house. They can't take the kids and as women do, and receive some kind of financial support. That's unheard of. Why? In this day and age, in 2020, are we still living in the world where men have the power and women don't have the power? That's nonsense, and we all know it. But it's not in favor when you have media presentations, and it's not in favor in court. And the old school court judiciary has yet to die off, and they are still deep entrenched in the whole concept of you have the weak little woman. And women play that card, especially my former spouse, who was an actress to begin with, and she did her best acting in court. And this is not uncommon. Again, the primary thing here is who suffers the most. It's the children. The children are pawns. They are deprived of a parent, one parent and not the other, usually the male. And this goes on for years. And we have the outcome being dysfunctionality on every level. You have suicide rates. You have drug use, dependency, codependency. So, this factor is known. And if it's known to the judiciary, if these facts are a given, then why can we not seek recompense for a massive injustice? These are our children. they're being destroyed by the system. No matter if you have a spouse, former spouse, who is determined to do that, they are given the tools. They are given the ability to get away with everything that should not be. And the end result is children who grow up without a father, who grow up to be dysfunctional, in most cases, statistically speaking, if they survive at all. And my hope is that my children, if they survive this, they will not have to go through the hell that I have and that they have with their own children, if they're blessed. Thank you very much for tuning in to this edition of Father's Justice.